Hi guys, the date is May 28th, 2022. Welcome to my channel. Normally on my channel I'm a little bit more fun and witty and stuff, and I make jokes and I'm just real, and sometimes we have serious conversations, and I think I've been doing a lot more of those lately, but this is something that I really wanted to talk about. And of course, I only know so much information, and I'm not a reporter. And I am merely talking about how it is based on my profession and how I've discovered so many new things that come with that, and how sad it is because of the events that happened in Texas on Monday. And me now teaching kids, and I'm only an after school teacher, but I'm responsible for 23 little lives, and I have the youngest kids there. And even if that's the case, like, it doesn't even matter how old these kids are, but these kids are very close to the age of the kids that passed, and I look at them and it just hits so much harder now. When I was a student, I focused on how am I going to keep myself safe? What am I going to do to protect myself? And if anything, friends around me, like, how are we going to like survive the situation if it were to happen? Because mass shootings, school shootings are now a very real thing. And it's sad that they are. And now that I'm not just a student, I am a teacher, and I'm going to be hopefully a teacher once I obtain my credential, and I'm working towards doing that. It's gonna, I think, hit even harder. It's not even that this is not something that wasn't already horrific for me, it just hits a lot of, it hits differently. It hits a lot of more different things and parts of you, I think, um, that you don't realize when you are not in that position. You can only imagine, but it's like I went from student to teacher, and I look at these kids and they are my heart and soul and my passion. And I think teachers talk about like how these kids end up being their own kids, and how much they love them, and how much they love that they impact their lives, and this is why we teach. And I don't have any kids of my own, and a lot of my a lot of my parents have joked around that these are your first kids. And in reality, yes, but I don't get to take them home with me. But I've grown so close to them, and I love them, and I always knew that, it's going to be, I'm going to be heartbroken once they move on to the next grade and I'm no longer their teacher. But this is a different type of heartache, I think, just imagining that anything could happen to them. We had a moment the other day, I think it was Wednesday, and we were sitting there, and we had just finished homework time, because it's like we have a certain schedule that we follow, and one of the kids was like, oh, there was a shooting, and then another one was like, yeah, and then they were like, wait, there was a shooting, and there was all this back and forth conversation, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, it is my responsibility to talk about this with them, because I'm not just gonna sit here and let them be confused, or, they're kids, so maybe they joke around about it because they don't really know certain things. I I try to be as real with my kids as possible. I try to be honest and tell them things in ways that they will understand. Of course, there's certain things that you can't tell kids, but I try to educate them in so much. We've talked about segregation, we've talked about um, What else? We've talked about being gay, transgender, bi, and these are kids who are in kindergarten. I have one TKer through third grade, and so there are a bunch of different levels of grades, but they all are still kids, and they only understand so much, some more than others. And I want them to gain something from being with me. I am not their every like I'm not their morning official teacher every day. Like they go and they learn math and science. Like, no, I'm not that. But I do teach them things because we do activities and we learn about things, and I want them to leave my class having learned things that hopefully they remember, or if they encounter later on in life, they remember that they learned from me and that they developed skills that will hopefully help them later on in life. And I can only help them so much and teach them so much, you know. But I hope that whatever amount it is that they remember, it means something. Um so when this happened, I was like, I have to. I have to talk. And I don't want to talk to them about this. I mean, I do because it's important, but it's like no teacher wants to go up and talk to their students about how kids their age were shot and killed and are no longer with us, and how teachers were shot and killed and are no longer with us, and that somebody walked into a school and did this to them. I In college we did this essay, or rather it was a presentation where we looked at a school shooting, and we looked at the different, I guess, reasons why someone would do this and if it could have been prevented. And there's some people out there that didn't get the help that they needed, and there's some people out there that just want to do this for fun, and there's all these different factors that are at play, and it's like, can this have been prevented? And the truth is, with just how crazy things are right now, I don't think they could have been, because it has become normal now. And so we were looking at maybe if this person had gotten therapy or more people had, tried to help. And it's like, you can do all the help you can in the world and try to give this person all the resources, but it is completely up to the person. That person needs to make those choices. And of course, people make mistakes. Of course, people could help out more, but this person decided one day, or maybe one day before, or some time before, that they were going to walk into a school with a gun and murder little children. And I don't think that's okay. And I'm not saying that we were trying to justify the person's actions, but we were trying to see if maybe there was a way that these things could have been prevented. And if we as a society maybe have just been ignoring those things. And it's like, yes and no. Like, there's some people that could have helped and probably didn't. But again, I think it is entirely on the individual, because this individual decided to do this. Even with help or whatever, maybe they still would have decided to do this. Maybe they wouldn't if they had gotten the help. But again, that is on the individual. And it's a sad, sad reality that we have these individuals in this world. And when I was standing up there with these kids and talking to them about this and asking them who has heard about the shooting, and asking them, please give me your asking them, please give me your full attention and do not joke around about this, and can you please be serious about this? And them having a million different questions and being kids and being like, what if this, what if that? I thought of this essay, this presentation, and I thought, this is not important right now. It was important, I think, when I was doing it, and I think it's important work that I have gotten published and it's out there in the world, and I don't want people to think I was defending anything, because I was not. I am a person who's very big on mental health, and we were looking at it from a psychological approach, and that is purely what it is. It is academic research, but I do not advocate for any of this. And I think I should put that out there, because I put myself out there on the internet and I have essays published out there, and I just want to be blunt and clear. And this whole video is just kind of my feelings and how I felt when I was a student versus how I feel now. And it's not like I take back everything that I wrote in this essay, because I was not defending this individual. I was merely just doing the research and looking at it from that point of view. But it did not matter when I was looking at those kids. And it is a lot of different emotions going through me right now based on this, because it is so sad and so tragic. And so I'm up there and I explained to them that kids their age are no longer here, that teachers defended these kids and are no longer here. And like I said, as a student, you think, how am I going to protect me? And now you're thinking, how am I going to protect all of us, mainly these kids? And it makes you feel and think all these different things, and you, even if you think about your life for a second, you feel ugly. But of course you don't want anything to happen to you. But of course I would choose the kids first. I mean, first I would try to think of a way to save all of us, but it's like, I would never want to be put in that position. And I think there's a lot of ugly thoughts and scenarios that society has put on us because of the sad realities of things, and it messes with you. And it's no wonder people are dealing with all these mental health things, because it's just insane what is our new normal and what we have to think about. And I would never want to go up to a parent and say that your kid is no longer with us and I am still here. Of course, I would not say that I am still here, but it's obvious I'm still here. And I was supposed to protect your child. And even if they don't blame me, or it's not viewed that way, it's like, I have to live with that. That what could I have done? And I hate that that is something that is even a thought, that it's even something that could happen. I'm a lot more sad because of the fact that now it is my reality, that I have to think about these things, that I will now, from now on, always have to think about, where do we hide? Can I cover this door in any way so no one can look in? Is there an easy way to turn off the lights, lock the door? How close in proximity are my students to a door or to a window? Where am I in the campus? Is it easily accessible? And at first, when I started working, I was like, I love this. It's amazing. I love hanging out with the kids and taking them out and having them get some sunlight, and this is a great job, and I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I still, of course, I do. And now it's like I'm going to have this internal fear for the rest of my life. And some days I won't think about it, and some days it will be very present. And I remember now every single shooting that I have heard about, and it is right there in my face. Whereas I could have gone on my day-to-day basis, knowing that this sad thing is happening and that is real to me as a student, but now it's real to me as a teacher. And that comes with a lot more. And I had a parent who was so afraid they didn't want to even bring their child to school. And this happened in Texas, and we are in California. That is the crazy part. This is the first time in a very long time where, I mean, it's been kids, but like these are little babies who were not even just murdered, they were murdered tragically and horrifically in brutal ways. I mean, it is tragic, but like in brutally. And I don't want to get into that, but it's something that I'm thinking about. And they're my babies. I look at those babies on TV, and I look at those babies on my Instagram and my Facebook, and I see their little faces, and they are my babies. And I think a lot of teachers feel this right now, and a lot of parents feel this right now. And I was standing up there, and for a few seconds, I imagined what could have happened if those were my babies, if those were those kids, and if they were no longer here with us, and what we would do if someone just walked in right now. I don't think I could. I wouldn't even know how to process that. And I they were asking me all these questions about if what if this happened? What if that happened? I'm like, I don't know. All I can tell you is we're doing a shelter in place drill tomorrow. And I'm talking to you about it now. And this is what you're supposed to do in the moment when you're with me. If something else happens that is out of our control, I just want you guys to be safe and do everything possible that you can to be safe. And I'm giving them ideas of like how to hide and like what to do and how to follow directions if I were no longer there and they lost me. And I'm like, am I even supposed to do this? Like, is this like, am I gonna get in trouble for this? Like, but like, I want to give them every skill possible, and some of them are like, well, what if we find a weapon or this? And I'm like, I just want you guys to hide. I don't want you to put yourselves in harm's way. I don't want you to talk. I want you to hide. If you are outside, find a hiding place. You guys hide for me all the time and you think it's fun. Hide. And I'm trying to hope that the information I'm giving them is right. And I am just telling them, you know what to do. You are smart kids. And I hope and I pray to God that this never, ever happens to you, so you never have to think about these things. But we are thinking about these things because they're happening. And I just keep mumbling and talking up there, and I'm like, I need to stop because I don't even know what more I can say. Or if what I'm saying is what I'm supposed to be saying, I'm telling them, you need to follow directions first, but they're asking me, what do I do if this happens, if they break in through the window, if you die, like, There's no plan for this. We are given instructions on what to do in the first maybe 5-10 minutes, or if everything ends up being okay and we just stay in the room. But what happens then if someone does make it in? What are the rules for that? We're in an after school program, so I think we're pretty lucky in that maybe someone won't come because it's not during school hours, but then we're after school. That kind of just makes us a target as well. We did the drill and the kids were giggling and laughing because soon I realized that this conversation, it became a lot of questions, and we ended up being lighthearted and saying stuff to kind of like, I guess, ease the tension. And I'm like, but this is something that should be serious, so we should be serious and we should stop. Because it's not like we were making fun of the situation, it was more sort of, I guess our brains and our bodies and our emotions kind of had to go to some sort of like, well, if this happens, you abandon your stuffy and you, because all my kids have stuffies, and then, the stuffy, they're like, if the stuffy gets shot, I'm like, then the stuffy gets shot, and it turned into that, and it's not like it turned into anything bad, but I'm like, I can't let it go there. But it's like, so they were giggling during the shelter in place drill because they were like, abandon the stuffy, and just. And I told them afterward they shouldn't have acted like that. We had had a serious conversation, and I stopped because it was going south. But of course, they know that it was a serious conversation. They know that by now from us. And so I want to practice it again with them because I know that they can do better. And there's certain students who, again, act up and they goof around, and I'm worried about them because I'm like, what do you do when, like, not to blame those students, but it's like, these are kids. Like, what do you do if they talk or they joke around during this very serious time? Like, because they're kids, and it's not their fault. And it's not your fault that you didn't train them as little soldiers for this, And I joke around that they're my little soldiers, and, they march in line, and they go to their little numbers to stretch and do their movement and everything, but it's like, they're kids. They're kids, and I am doing everything I can to help them in life, but now I'm doing everything I can to protect them in school. We don't sign up for that, but now we do. But at the same time, it's like, it's just so crazy. It's insane now. And it's so, I can't believe this is happening. This must be a joke. Because it should not be real or normalized that little baby kids, these little tiny individuals who haven't even blossomed in life and have so much potential to offer, they have to go to a school to learn, and now that school might not be safe. We send our kids to school to learn and grow and be safe, and it is one of the least safest places to be at. And all these people are talking about the Sandy Hook shootings and all this stuff because this was the second most recent kid shooting, compared to this, and now this one happened, and it's so much more brutal. And both are just so terrible. I guess that's all I have to say about that. And I'm surrounded by pictures of the kids, and I have a Polaroid roll, and it's just like I'm so emotional right now. And I did not intend for this video to be so long, but I talk and I talk and I talk. And I hope that I've talked enough. Yeah, that's it for me. If you have a child in school, know that I pray every single day that this no longer will be a reality and that all children will be okay. And I can only hope that this will be the last time, but I don't know. And that's just a lot to think about and to have as a burden, and to it's just not right. And I hope that everyone stays safe and everybody is okay and will be okay. And I hope that my little wishes, and along with the wishes of the world, can be enough to say that this is the last time. Okay. I'm gonna go now. Yeah. These things should never have happened.